This audio originally aired at Harmony in the Woods in Hawley, Pennsylvania, before a sold-out Motown concert. Henry Schuyler had a beautiful idea to honor 5 remarkable people who are no longer with us. Now, if you know Harmony, you know they like to do things a little differently sometimes. And if you know Henry, you know how deeply he cares about people who live their dreams. You can see that in the In My Wildest Dreams mini-documentaries, and you could hear it in the inspiring HarmonyTALK podcast. So I connected with Adam Owens at Bold Gold to bring this idea to life. We recorded 5 heartfelt stories, people speaking about someone they loved and lost. What we didn't expect was just how raw, honest, and moving those stories would be. They touched us deeply, and we hope they touch you too. I'm Lori Guzda, and we invite you to take a few moments to listen with your hearts as we celebrate lives well lived and the legacies that continue to inspire with a piece called Echoes in the Sky. Thank you.
Welcome to Harmony in the Woods. This beautiful facility, surrounded by nature, brings us closer to family, friends, and community through music. Tonight, we're here to enjoy the amazing sounds of Motown. As we gather under one sky, we'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and celebrate 5 lives that continue to inspire and influence us. Whether you know 1 or 2 or all or none of them, we hope that the words of those remembering, laughing, and reflecting invite you to connect to the echoes of these lives.
My name is Sari Schuyler, and my grandfather was Robert Bennick. I learned a lot from my grandfather. Strong work ethic, not taking yourself too seriously, loving fiercely, loyally. And I think the biggest thing I learned was the importance of family. If I had to describe Pops to someone who didn't know him, I would say larger than life. He had the biggest personality, constantly talking, telling stories about his life, his time as a foster child, his time in the Army, his years in the butcher shop, and most of his stories were about his family. He was very quirky. Once he found a sweater that he would like from Costco, he would buy every color that they offered. He didn't use a directional because people should know where he was going, he would say. He collected porcelain ducks. He was a piece of work. As he got older, he had a love for painting, and he would paint, and there wasn't a piece of wall available in his apartment. He lined his apartment with paintings. My favorite piece of art that Pops made is hanging in our house in Hawley. It's just a picture of a white house and a field. There are ducks in front. I guess he really loved ducks. What I miss most about my Pops is his sense of humor. He really was hysterical. And I think if he were with us tonight, he would really enjoy some Motown.
Like stars in a constellation, each story connects to another. Echoes of the sky.
If you had never met Les Lewis before, what you should know about him is that he was always going to be honest with you, whether he agreed with you or not. He would give it to you straight, but he would also listen to you. And if he was ever in a position to help you, he would give it everything he had. I'm his son, John Lewis. And one of the most important things I learned from my father, Les, was that if you have a goal, you should do whatever it takes to get that. When I think about what my father did that was better than anyone else, I just remember his days of coaching. I think he was more passionate about that than his actual career. He would really help people with their game and making them better and feel good about themselves. I think he really lifted the people around him. I remember when I was little, I think I was in first grade, and they had a take your parent to lunch day at the school. And he was the only dad that showed up. And I remember feeling a little embarrassed. But then as I grew up, it just meant so much to me that he came. He's the type that always shows up no matter what. I think that's the main thing that I took from him is that, when it just comes to myself and my family, no amount of work is too much. And you have to never let anyone tell you can't do something or it's too big or something that's beyond your reach.
Echoes of the sky. Stories that reflect that you were here. You mattered. You still shine.
She wasn't like anybody else, that's for certain. She was one of a kind. I'm Liza Roos, the oldest child of Bill and Paula Roos. When my mother was 19, she fell in love with Honesdale. And even though she was a big city kid, this was, as far as she was concerned, the greatest place on earth.
This is Sig Roos. I am Paula Roos's middle child. The best thing about my mother was her warmth. and her generosity and her enthusiasm.
Mom had an unabashed zest for life. I'm Joel Roos. I'm Paula Roos's youngest child. Mom was one of the kindest human beings I've known. She taught all three of us to be giving of our time, our expertise, and our resources.
Christmas for us was knowing that Mom was gathering gifts and food for other people. Mom taught me to be curious. She saw beauty everywhere she looked and was irrepressibly optimistic.
That's the thing about my mom. Everything's the most wonderful. Her friends were the most wonderful. Her kids were the most wonderful. Even her broken down old sob was the most wonderful.
She was fascinated by absolutely everything. She would take us out of school to see every rocket blast off.
She'd put us on the front lawn every time there was going to be a shooting star evening.
We spent a week at the New York World's Fair in 1964.
She wanted us to have every experience we could have.
I feel like Mom gave us everything she had. She was running on high octane and left nothing on the table.
She was unstoppable, and she was a determined woman, and I don't think she had a regret in her life.
This isn't about looking back. It's about listening forward. Echoes of the Sky.
Burton Schneider was a lieutenant in the U.S. Navy, in charge of the Armed Forces Radio Network. I, Henry Schuyler, was a captain in the U.S. Army with a top-secret strategic mission. When we first met, Bert and I became fast friends, and we were together for our 2-year tour on Taiwan. Bert was an amazing human being, and I was fascinated by what he was doing. My favorite thing about Bert is that he made me laugh, sometimes to the point of being almost a cry. He found his way through fun, through excitement. We traveled to Thailand together. He was always fun to be with. After we completed our military service, Bert returned to Tucson and I returned to Honesdale, where we both joined family businesses. Bert with his parents at the school they had founded, while I joined my dad's insurance agency. As we matured, our friendship endured. We continued to travel to Tucson and to Honesdale, sharing our love for music. We even contemplated purchasing a radio station together. Bert and I maintained a regular phone conversation, exchanging updates. We planned to meet soon. However, a few months ago, Bert reached out to me. But before I could respond, his family told me that my friend had passed away. Why did Bert call me? And why did I miss Bert's call? Dear Bert, I'm in Harmony in the Woods, which is a serene and a peaceful place for music and dance, and where tonight I remember you and our friendship. I can hear your voice, Bert, and I know you were listening to my words of farewell. I am your friend. I'm going to miss you, and I will always remember us.
Echoes of the Sky. The stories we tell, the laughter we share, the invisible threads we carry with us long after the light has gone.
My name's Mark Honigfeld. I am the son-in-law of Stan Goldberg. Stan was one of those people that was legendary in the camping industry, but more importantly was a legendary human being, was the best people person I ever met in my life, and he's someone that anybody that came in contact with would instantly fall in love with. His legendary smile, the charisma, and most importantly, his incredible storytelling about his life coming through the streets of Brooklyn to become a teacher, an educator, and then a camp director and a camp owner. And he exceeded his wildest expectations. And Stan truly believed that he was the luckiest man alive. The way he interacted with other human beings was so unique. And a lot of times it was saying the right thing at the right time, but purely his actions also. He truly just made everyone around him feel good. What made me laugh about Stan the most is that he would say real athletes can't dance, and he'd show off his inability to dance all the time. So if he was in front of you tonight at this Motown event, he'd be strutting up there, laughing at himself. Stan Goldberg was my father-in-law, but I called him Dad, and he simply wanted to make people happy, and that was his life's journey. I had the great pleasure for the last 35 years to have that front row seat as I watched as he impacted thousands and thousands of people and left his mark.
These stories sing through the night sky. A truth continues to hum in our hearts. May their echoes and yours forever light the sky. Thank you for listening. Let the music ring out, vibrate, and harmonize within and through all of us.